Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about a very important subject, which is how do you get better gear. And I'm going to explain you how I get better gear through crafting. And crafting, I know, is it's a large topic in Path of Exile, and it can be very scary for new player, but I'm going to explain you what I do to do extremely basic crafting, and you see it's very not difficult what I do and how I use this to improve my gear. So as I am right now, I'm looking as improving this piece of gear right now. So there is multiple question in gear crafting. First, what is good stat, what is bad stat, what I'm looking for, etc, etc. So let's start with the very beginning. I did a guide on my sorcerer, by the way, link in the description if you want to have a look at it. And the main important part for me is energy shield. I need to have a lot of energy shield because this is my main source of getting tankier. So I need energy shield. So all the piece of equipment that I want to have are the ones that are pure energy shield. If you go on here, you always have, like on the C, you have one vendor that is always selling random piece of gear, and you can find any kind of gear and it's completely random. And if you go on here, you will see that you have the pure evasion rating. This one is pure energy shield. This one is pure armor. This one is a mix of armor, energy shield. This one is a mix of evasion and energy shield. So you get the idea. You can find exactly the kind of gear that you want here. It's going to cost you some coins and it's completely random. From this, you are going to have something that is blue or yellow. And this is exactly what I did. I went for that one, which is energy shield, pure energy shield, and then I start buying some of them, and this is what I have. And you end up in three situations. One situation and you get a yellow one. You can get a yellow one. So this one I'm going to keep it because maybe there's some interesting things to do with it. The problem with that is that there is some stat that I really don't like, but I'm going to keep it for now. You can have blue one that are extremely bad. So let's say you have one stat that is something you really don't want. So for me, stun threshold, I'm not getting stun at all because I'm not supposed to take any hits. So this is something that I really don't want. So if it's bad, I just set it back. And then you get things that are blue and you like. And this is like maximum life. This is for most of the build very important. Maximum life is something that you want to have because it's allowing you to take more hits, and most of the classes benefit from maximum life. It's probably one of the main source of tankiness that you are going to get. So very important stat. The higher the best. So this is something that is very important. If I play shift, I can compare to what I have right now, so it avoids me to just do this all the time. So I can play shift. You see that right now I don't have maximum life. So if I want more maximum life, this item could be a good base item to craft on it. Another thing that is good is a high resistance. So here you see I have 30% cold resistance, which is big chunk of resistance for cold, so I quite like it. And then there is 20% increasing energy shield. I told you I need the energy shield, so this is good. So already I have a very good base on this one. And here I have cold resistance, and I mean the item is good, but 22% is not that great. So I kept it just to show you what I'm going to do with it, but it's not like an amazing starter. So now that you have your starter, and this is the free starter, you are going to go to take your gem, your orbs, and you are going to start crafting. So it's this one. Okay, I'm going to get this one. So this is very important. You need to understand something is that based on the quality of the item and the slot of the item, you have a certain numbers of stats. So if I'm a chest and I'm a magic, I can have two stats. So here, you see I have maximum life. If I, with this one, I will add another stat. Now I have life regeneration. So you see, I just used one. And this is very easy to find. You have a lot of them. You see, I have like something like 80. So here I have cold resistance, and now I have maximum energy shield. Okay, very easy. If you have a doubt, you can just try it on a random blue item. Then let's say I have something that I really like this is a very good start. After what I can do, and be careful because this you don't have a lot. Regal Orb is something that is transforming a blue item into a rare art item, so yellow one. So this one is something that potentially could be good. So I'm going to transform it to a rare item and see what it happened. Okay, so now I have torn damage. Torn damage is not something I want. It's really, really bad. I don't want to be it, so I don't like this. I don't think I'm going to keep investing in this one. Another thing I could have done, but this is for extremely good items, is you can take an Exalted Orb and then add a line the same way I had the line with this one on blue items. Be careful because those ones, they are extremely rare, so you can't do this on a lot of things. But eventually, this is the kind of things that allow you to get better gear. A last thing that you can do to actually upgrade an item is you can add a socket to it using the specific gem that is... What is this? Okay. That is here. So this gem here, this orb, is creating a socket. You see? And this is allowing you after to increase even further the equipment by adding a special effect. So as I showed you before, I really need cold resistance. And guess what? Now I have cold resistance. 12% of cold resistance. So my resistance now moved to 25%. It's not much, but it's a step further into getting a bit more tankier and not getting one shot. Just a quick pause here to say that as you progress through the game, it gets more and more important to have your resistance that you see here capped. And what I mean by capped is you want to push this as high as possible. Right now I have a lot of lightning resistance, but my cow resistance is really bad. My cold resistance is really bad, and fire resistance is meh. You need to push this to avoid getting one shot by certain bosses. And this is even more true as you restart the game in the higher difficulty in Cruel, because every time that you move through an act, you have your resistance going down, 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 and down. And you want to keep this up to a certain level. I know that the last boss of this act is going to give me a lot of trouble with cold damage, and right now with 13%, I'm clearly not high enough to face that boss. So I need to start getting more cold resistance and probably less lightning resistance. As the second act is coming, I know that I'm going to struggle on lightning resistance, so I need to pump that up to the maximum level. And for the third act, my recommendation is that you go on Chaos, because the hardest boss on Chaos, on the third act, are doing Chaos damage, which is poison and things like this. So this is just to show you that big chunk of resistance is very important because it is going to tank a lot for you. If you are negative anywhere here, and a spell is dealing like 100 damage to you, and if you have -10, it's going to deal to you 110. And if you have 50%, it's going to give to deal to you only 50 damage. So you really want to have the highest possible resistance, because the spells that the boss are doing, they hurt a lot. So you want to pump that. And there is something that you need to understand with, in general, Path of Exile math, is the return on investment when you invest into just one stat is getting, for most of the stats, is getting lower and lower. So let's say spell damage. If I have 0 spell damage and I get 100, I move from 0 to 100, I will double my spell damage. If I already have 100 and I get another 100, I will move for 200% to 300%, so I only getting 50% increase of my total damage. And the more you get spell damage, and the less efficient additional spell damage is going to be. For the resistances, this is the opposite. If I have 50% of lightning resistance and I move to 75%, I actively divided the damage I take from lightning by 2. Because now I'm not taking 50% damage of lightning, I'm taking 25%, which is half of it. If I move from 0 to 25%, I only reduce the damage I take from lightning by 25%. So resistances in here, they are better the more you stack them. The more you get them and the higher it deals something for you. And having max resistances, you see my max is 77. That means that that extra point, those 2 extra points, is very important, because if I manage to cap that, that means that the damage that I get from cold is really, really reduced. So this is very strong. And you have some talents that allow you this. Like the one that I'm thinking about is this one. At the very top here, you have 1% to all elemental resistance, maximum elemental resistance. So if you want to take that one, it's probably going to help you tank later on. And that's probably something that I'm going to get, because I like the maximum energy shield and this is really nice. So that's something that I'm probably going to get later. So that's my recommendation. If you want to have better gear, you can wait for luck. That's an option and just drop it. You can take everything that drops, you sell it, you go and you talk to that guy or the equivalent in another city, and you start buying that specific piece of gear. So right now, another thing that I'm looking for is a wand. I could have bought a wand and then see what happens. And then after I can craft on it. And this way is allowing you to target specific items that are way behind. It's extremely useful when you are moving from one act to another one, because usually you have gears that is lacking behind, it's lacking behind, and you want to have this gear upgraded. Otherwise, it's going to hold you back, and that's a good way to improve your gear. A second way to improve your gear, and this is extremely important by the way, every time you level up, you quickly go back to the town and you browse through the items that are proposed by the vendor. I have some amazing items that I found through the vendors. You see here, if you play a bow, actually you have a rare bow. Potentially that is very good. I don't know, I don't play bow, but potentially it's really good. I was very tempted to buy that one. Actually, I think I'm going to buy that one, because maximum life, maximum mana, life regeneration per second. I mean, I don't really like it for my build, but it's fine. Maximum energy shield. I mean, it's all things that you really like. The only thing that I don't like on this one is that I'm lacking a big resistance. So mine is good as well, so I'm not going to buy it because I have something that is pretty good and I don't need life as much as other build. But that could be something that I buy. You see here there is something that has 109 life, very good as well. So this could be as well a way to start as a base, because you know what you're gonna get. You have an energy shield that starts with 109 life and 11 life per second. So you can start to buy this in the vendor and then you craft it the way I just showed you before. Okay, I think that's it for today. I hope this very quick guide on how to craft early on improve your gear and move through the stage of the act is going to help you. If it did, please leave a like, a comment, or sub to my channel. As you see, it's a very young channel, so it's going to help me a lot. Thank you very much for watching, and see you on the next video.